Today I was returning my forms of nominations to be a party presidential flag bearer. The exercise is closing on 27th of this month for the presidential flag bearer. So today I returned my forms and I've been duly nominated, and I'll be waiting to see what happens by the time we go for the conference, which is going to be on Monday. Alliance for National Transformation will complete this process of the presidential flag bearer on Monday. While closing date is 27th, the closure will be on Monday when there will be a conference. That's when we would know the outcomes of this process. However, we will also be waiting in the course of the next 10 days, because we are in a memorandum of understanding with another sister party with which we signed. They also are going through their own internal processes. So once they complete their own internal processes, we will know the outcomes, not only at the presidential level, but also at the lower levels. The lower levels will take possibly throughout the whole of August, harmonizing. No, by mid-August, harmonizing positions at the lower levels. And then we would be prepared to roll out in the campaign, which starts, I would like to believe, end of September. The national presidential nominations have been pulled forward from 3rd and 4th of October to, I think, 26th and 27th of September. The environment in the country, the political environment in the country, as possibly you may already be aware, is very, very complex. We can already notice what happened in the primaries of NRM all over the country. It was as messy as the one of 2021. Some time back, we thought that maybe the ruling party would have learned from the errors and mistakes of 2021 primaries in the ruling party. But it seems they learned no lessons. We'll wait and see how many petitions are going to come from their own internal exercises. Why do I make reference to that? Parties can only give what they have. So when you see what is going on internally within NRM, clearly there is no way they can act differently in the national electoral process that is going to start in October. Nevertheless, this is our country. In spite of all impediments that have been put in the way of the smooth, transparent electoral processes in this country, we can't give up. Because the people in government are not the kind of people whom anybody would hope that on their own they can change their ways. They just simply can't. They are driven by selfish motives. They are people who are driven by self-interest. They don't care about the country. They don't care about people. So there must be effort on our side, those of us who are in the opposition, to keep building a counter force to be able to oust this regime and be able to take over power and put the country from the mess in which it is, put it back on track. It's part of the process. We'll keep reaching out and pushing the same message that we've been pushing since formation of Alliance for National Transformation. more so to prepare Ugandans who want to change the country and prepare for a better future. Because in our own estimation, that's the only way out. Regime change, that is obvious, it will happen. However, if people track our message as we have been disseminating it over and over, which we will not stop, because we know that's the only way we can get a solution to the mess in which we are, is that we have to prepare. Keep reaching out to Ugandans who are sane, Ugandans who believe in integrity in governance, Ugandans who believe in transparency, in equal opportunities, in equality before the law, in fairness, in building an economy that enables all Ugandans in whatever walks of life, in whatever endeavors they are in, whether in agriculture, whether in industries, manufacturing industries, whether in the services industries, whether in transportation, wherever they are, to have an environment in which they can prosper, which is not the case now, basically because of leaders who don't care about people. So to change that, there must be people who care about people and who care about the country. That's the only way. There's no party which will change this country unless it fulfills that formula. That's the only formula that can work. We don't own it, we don't control it, which basically means that whichever party succeeds first in building a critical number of leaders whose thinking and actions are consistent with care for people, care for the country, that's the only way you can change this country. No other way. Therefore, Ugandans who are frustrated, who have lost hope, you need to recover hope. Even those who didn't vote in 2021, because people say, this thing can't work. But life is like that. It's like people who are in business. You try business, it goes down. You don't give up. You try again, you try again. Some people succeed second, third, fourth time. Until people look for money until they get, out of this life. Same thing must be for politics. There's no way this country can change. There's no way we can shape the future to be better than what it is, unless we have men and women of integrity who come into politics. And we invite all Ugandans who believe that the only way you can change the trajectory of politics and put it on the right track, it must be by getting people who are honest, men and women, and we invite them in Alliance for National Transformation. Those who may, for whatever reason, not be able to join ANT, get any other party that you believe in, but build a critical number there so that you become the dominant force. Because no party is going to change this country unless the dominant force inside that party is of those people who think alike, who act in concert in terms of building a strong foundation for good governance. There is no other way. General Museveni is going to leave this country in a big, big problem. Those candidates whom you saw who are running in NRM, quietly talk to them, or get people who can do research. You'll most likely find that those who run on that ticket, out of 10, 7 or 8 don't even believe in NRM. But they went there because they just want to get into position. Money. So the question we keep asking ourselves, if shepherds abandon the flock, the sheep, what happens if the sheep are left in the field? Wolves will eat the sheep. So when you see the breakdown of leaders, as is clearly seen, people abandoning people, joining the NRM even when they don't believe in it. And the main reason is that that's the only way they can go through to get into power. So you get through, all right, but you don't change anything, as we have noticed. The last parliament, look at the last parliament, what it did. The majority were NRM, 300 plus. Did they have any positive impact? Nothing. Being bought there, paid to legislate, imagine. And beyond leaders, the breakdown of the population itself. Look at the primaries which are going on in NRM. People, when you humiliate people to that point, where people will just fall for crumbs, literally, crumbs. It shows you the level at which we are as a country. Because the country is not made out of the physical things we see, buildings, rail, roads, dams, electricity and all that. The country is people. And the strength of the country is dependent on the strength of the people. When people are weak, the country certainly will be weak. When people are strong, that country will be strong. That's one of the areas that we keep focused on. We know, yes, that infrastructure is required, without doubt, because people must feed, they must get health services, they must get education, they must get jobs, they must prosper in industry and all that. But the most critical thing is the recovery of the self-worth of our people. That's going to be the toughest area. You can build a road when you have honest men and women disciplined to apply resources which we get from taxes and build roads all over this country in a very short period of time. Our main concentration is how do you recover the sense of self-worth of our people? To us, it is the most critical thing. General Museveni has systematically broken our people completely. Target leaders, compromise them, as they say, when shepherds abandon their flock, the sheep scatter. That's what's happening here in this country. So let me thank you again for coming to cover this event. Just on us exploiting the opportunities that there are and work on possibilities of fielding one candidate at all levels, right from councillors down LC3 up to the presidential flag bearer.
And in that case, General, if you ask to step down for the other candidates, will that go well with you as aunt?
Most Ugandans who have tracked me in politics would know that.
Lastly, General,
at least I have practiced a number of times.
Yes. Lastly, how far with the engagements with other parties? Because you said you're still engaging.
Yeah, we agreed that let's first finish implementation of our MOU and then jointly make the next step. And the other party that we are looking to engage in consultations with is the National Unity Platform. And should that succeed, then three can now agree on which other to bring on board. That's the way we have chosen to move.
Even the joint candidature to cut across?
With the PFF, that's the agreement. With other parties, we don't have to agree on everything. It depends on which parties, because there are a number of issues. There are parties which possibly may say, okay, that's an area that we should not work on, which is okay with us, even if we don't work together on fielding joint candidates. But we can work together, for example, in influencing the electoral process, how we engage with the Electoral Commission. Two, manage communications. Because another thing we think that is very, very critical for the opposition parties is to create an environment where we are not attacking each other. We have to organize an onslaught against the regime. So when we manage that, and the population recognizes that we are all focused on ousting the regime, that we are not competitors, but want joint effort, even if we don't have single candidates, to see how to overwhelm the regime. We think that that helps in recovering hope in the population and also influencing the state of hopelessness that there is in the population and frustration. Once they see us handling issues, which are literally issues of life and death, in a mature way. So managing communications is another aspect we can work together with other parties. And there are also other aspects, for example, like in vote protection. Because, for example, we have got 35,000 polling stations. Possibly they may increase this time round. So it would be logical that where three parties are, they coordinate effort. Where there are only two, in case you are three, then the two can use the infrastructure even to protect the vote for the third. Or where you are three and then only one is in a particular area, the one can organize the infrastructure for protecting votes for the third. Is the most logical. And once there is discipline and focus on the main objective, to us, we don't think it's something very difficult to achieve. Now, in the past, there are errors which were made. But there are always contestation between these two approaches. And in my own estimation, that's why there was failure in the last 3 attempts. Because the focus was on agreeing on everything. Some of us then, as we think now, was no, you don't have to agree 100%. If you have 5 issues and agree only on 2, work on the 2. But also manage yourself in such a way that the 3 where you have not agreed and are pursued differently by the different parties, create mechanisms for not conflicting over the 3 which you have not agreed upon, but pursue the 2 jointly. Or if you agree on 3, work together on the 3, let the 2 be pursued by the different entities. It's the most logical thing. So it just simply requires discipline and focus. And we'll be able to achieve it. And considering really the chaos that is in this country, the levels of frustration of the population, it is worth attempting. You succeed, you thank God. You don't succeed, you don't blame yourself because you'd have tried. So that's the way we keep moving. I mean, the levels of desperation are quite frightening in this country when you look at people. Look at the primaries of NRM. Inside the ruling party itself, the levels of frustration. In some areas, people died. And the state is like upset. You know?